Today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cook Dinuguan, and in honor of Filipino-American History Month.
Wait, hold on. Filipino-American History Month. I wanted to talk about how important that is to me and to my identity. I mean, I even wrote my college apps on this. To the surprise of many, I am not full Filipino. You wouldn't even be able to tell with how hard I rep it and with how proud I am to be one. Growing up, I struggled to find an identity for myself. It wasn't until I joined the Filipino club in my high school where I finally felt like I belonged. The friends I made were a gateway into tapping me into the culture and my heritage. I even brought it to college. Being a part of PCNs, Filipino cultural schools, and Filipino organizations are great resources to help with this, but ultimately, it's only half the battle. My point is, it's up to us as Filipino Americans to keep our culture, heritage, history, tradition, and language going from generation to generation. So talk with your parents, partake in the gestures, learn the history, enjoy the festivals, and the best part of all, eat the food. I used to take all of these things for granted, but now I'm glad I've stopped to smell the warm pandesal and have embraced who I am. I am a Filipino American. And now, on with the show.
It's going to be me and my mom here, so let's get started.
Well, actually, my son asked me to list all the ingredients for dinuguan, but I mean, when we cook, we don't really put some ingredients here. We just throw them in, and it tastes good after that. And you can see that on my son and my husband. For the sake of the show, we kind of separate all the ingredients and show it to you, and when we start cooking after that.
So, dinuguan, otherwise known as chocolate meat, is a pork blood stew consisting of various parts of the pig, such as the lungs, kidneys, intestines, ears, heart, and snout. Definitely not for the faint of heart. Similar to blood pudding, the word dinuguan comes from the word dugo in Tagalog, or blood in English. Because there are so many islands in the Philippines, there are also many adaptations of this dish. Some notable locations include Bicol, where they enjoy it mixed with coconut milk and chilies to make it creamier and spicier. The Visayas, where it is crispy and has more sauce. And finally, in locations such as Kapampangan or Cebu, which actually uses solidified cubed blood and is called dugo-dugo. There's plenty of variations out there, but today we're gonna cook a form of Visayan style with crispy meat. Our ingredients are oil for frying, 4 cups of blood, 1.5 tablespoons of salt, half a cup of vinegar, bay leaves and a tablespoon of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of MSG, 2 pounds of pork, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, and 1.5 pounds of mixed offal, which includes heart, ear, liver, lung, and belly. That mix is up to your discretion. Our vegetables include chopped ginger, garlic, and red onion, with a final addition of jalapeno and lemongrass for flavor and aroma. The lemongrass we pulled right out of our own backyard. You're going to want to start by boiling your mixed offal for about 30 minutes to an hour to get it nice and tender, and then you're going to want to chop it up into small pieces such as we have.
Now we can start cooking.
First, actually, you can just cook this naturally. What I'm gonna do right now is deep fry it because my son and I love fried things, crunchy. So it's a lot tastier if you wanna cook it crispier, right? So let's start frying this thing. Deep fry this baby.
Frying the meat is going to make it nice and crispy, which will go perfectly with the textures of the sauce and the rice, or any other carb that you serve it with. So we ended up moving over to the dedicated deep fryer over the oil in the pan because it was more efficient and it could take a larger volume of meat in general. Whether you use a pot or a pan or a dedicated deep fryer, you want to keep these small chunks of meat moving so that they don't end up sticking to the side and frying onto your cooking ware. The oil started going crazy, so you should definitely use a cover to protect yourself.
Oh my god! Palang taba niyan, gaya pala eh.
So now with all the meats nice and fried, you're going to want to mix them together in a larger bowl. Oil in. Garlic in. Stir. Red onion in. Now you're going to want to stir fry these vegetables until golden. For For this next part, keep things at a medium heat. This is obviously the most vital step, and that's to add the blood. We start off by adding the first 2 cups to the pan and stir it for a few minutes to get it heated. You're gonna wanna follow this up with the meat and also stir it up for a few minutes to really let it soak and marinate. To keep the stew from drying out, add a cup of water during this section. Now we're gonna add in our vinegar, bay leaves, and black pepper. Brown sugar in. Salt in. MSG in. Finally, mix in the lemongrass and the jalapenos. We're gonna add in our final 2 cups of blood to finalize the stew and turn the color a dark brown. This is what makes the chocolatey look. So now that all of our ingredients have been added to the pan, we're gonna wanna stir and let the mixture cook for about 5 to 10 minutes. In all the previous steps, you can always taste test to see if the flavor might be too weak or too strong. You can dilute or strengthen the stew with water or blood, respectively.
Alright. Woo-hoo-hoo. Dinuguan. There we go.
Oh wow, looks really good. Let's try it. Excited. You said it's very mild. Wow, that's like perfect. That's really good. That's really good. It's really savory, perfect amount of spice. The salt and the sugar works really well together in this. It's a perfect mixture. It's like some of the best I've ever had. It's really good. It's hard to describe like the taste, like what to compare it to. That is really good. There's nothing better than a homemade meal. It is better than the restaurant. It almost does taste like chocolate.
That's what you call it, chocolate. Chocolate mix.
Because it looks like chocolate and it tastes like chocolate. It's like a savory chocolate. So good, I'm having another sip. It's primo. That was really authentic.
Sa tindahan, more blood than meat.
Way more meat than
more
normal.
meat.
That was a perfect amount of spice in there. Ang sarap naman.
Now that I'm writing this in post, I realize why I love the Dinuguan so much. I love English black pudding and Korean sundae, and obviously this dish tastes very similar to those, with both using blood as their main ingredient.
I'm really full now. That was good.
This has been an episode of Vander Cooks, and I'll see you next time.